Hey, hey, welcome back to the Chiron Intensive. I am Kiara.
And I'm Setha. The Chiron Intensive is a space where we dive deep into healing. Inspired by Chiron, the wounded healer, this podcast explores how our struggles can become our strength. It's about real talk, real growth, and creating community for young adults who deserve to thrive.
Hey, Zetha, long time no speak. How are you today?
I am doing pretty good. I know earlier I was saying that I was just doing okay, but literally just whenever we are chatting and whatnot, like literally my spirits get like uplifted and it just feels good to be here and back.
Yes, I am the same. I was just thinking earlier, like, yay, I'm excited that we're back to recording again because we definitely took off it was only a week, but it felt like long. For me, it was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks.
Because yeah, I didn't see you and then like you just heard from me through the
Yes, I
recording.
was I was burnt out. We speak about this, right? We speak, yeah,
Yeah.
real life example of burnout and just feeling overwhelmed. I was literally in front of my computer 12 hours a day, writing grants. By the way, if you'd like to donate, please visit www.groundedstars.com.
Absolutely.
Yes, but I am glad that you're doing well. I'm glad that we're back. And I'm excited.
Me too. Me too. Especially like since we're talking about relationships and our healing journey combined together. So that's really cool.
Yes. I do want to say, have you ever felt like the first pancake? Like, what do you normally do with your first pancake?
Like when I'm cooking my first pancake or like
Yeah,
what? Okay.
yeah. When you cook pancakes, what do you normally do to the first one?
Well, usually the first one I undercook it. I'm not even gonna lie. Like somehow, some way I undercook it. Like it's became a thing or tradition where Cameron's like, remember what I told you? Let it
Yeah.
bubble from the bottom from the top, and then you can flip it. And I'm like, I know. And then somehow, some way, it's always undercooked. And then I
Yeah.
started cooking.
Because I remember you're the oldest of your siblings, right?
Yeah.
So do you ever feel like you are the first undercooked pancake?
Yo, that's crazy. Yeah.
I always joke to myself, like, yo, I'm literally my mother's first pancake. And that
Wow.
explains our relationship. Like, that's all you need to say, that I'm her first pancake.
Her first pancake. That is it. I like that analogy. With
I
how did you
mean,
get it?
I don't like the analogy. I don't like the analogy, but
I mean, yeah, I mean, I like the way it works. Like the way
I,
you if you made it work in the life. Of course, I want to clarify
right? I
that.
actually wrote this. I wrote this years ago. I was writing a story about myself and I didn't finish it, but I definitely have it on my computer. And I compared myself to the first pancake. And I normally end up having to throw out my first pancake because I probably I didn't remember to butter the pan, spray the pan down.
Mhm.
So it sometimes it'll be burnt.
Oh, I see. So then it's kind of like, would you say like it kind of like when you kind of experience a little bit of disappointment with that first pancake?
Yeah. So
Right.
I normally end up throwing out my first pancake. So I don't really like the analogy, but it
Right.
explains the relationship to me
Mm-hmm.
with I just need to say that I'm her first pancake,
Right. No,
right?
it makes sense. I definitely say like I like it because of how it makes me think differently to apply it. I like metaphors. But let me
Right?
just put this on the clear, you guys. I don't like trauma and that's why we're here. Sorry, y'all.
Exactly. And you said yours is usually undercooked, right? The first
Hmm.
child is like an experiment to some.
Yes. Like I was thrown into this. And it
Exactly.
makes a lot of sense because I'm like a lot of things I was thrown into, and it's just like,
Mhm. Exactly. Because we can often find ourselves holding the belief that you have to be fully healed in order to be loved, or you have to be perfect in order to be loved. And that's just not true.
right, right. Because you are meant to experience like people would experience family, genuine family, your chosen family, people you love. So it's kind of like I understand that pretty much you don't hold back just because you feel like you have to be perfect. It's I think I look at it as sometimes like a form of perfectionism, you know?
Exactly. And that's kind of what puts us in deep trouble because you're never going to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. I don't care what their life may look like. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has all the answers, even your therapist, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So your value as a person is just not tied to how much you are, quote unquote, fixed.
Beautiful, beautifully said, Kiara. So icebreaker round, everyone.
Yay, my
Yes.
favorite.
So I know this may be like corny, but I don't know. I just wanted to ask you, like in your own words, could you describe love? Like what does love mean to you?
What does love mean to me? Like a donut, like a warm glazed donut. Oh my goodness, did you see that meme? No, not the meme. The video where she's like, "Have you ever had Krispy Kreme? Was it crispy?"
Was it crispy? Oh my goodness.
And my mind was blown because no, it was never crispy.
It was never crispy. And then she ended it with, interesting.
No, she was like, yeah, yeah. Like she was making a point.
Yes.
But what does love mean to me genuinely? Love means to me that I show up with all of my flaws and I am not asked to change who I am. I am not purposely being mishandled or abused. None of the above. What about you?
Right. I think like love means like being cherished for what you are, right? And also like cherishing someone for their beauty in their, ways that they may be perfect or and their imperfections, right? Because I just feel like, wow, like, hey, like I may not see myself in the best light, but I know my sisters love me. Like they have a deep love for me. Even though we fight, I know because of our love for each other, we are still find a way to forgive each other, to breathe, give each other space, learn from each other, know what our new boundaries are, what the ways we grow. And then like, like actually move on with life compared to like maybe the ways that I've probably been abused, right? I think about like the love that cherishing, you cherish your friends. You can even cherish like a good coworker, right? Like you may not be a friend or be besties with your coworker because boundaries or conflicts of interest, but you could still have different types of love for different people, love for the world, cherishing your community. So I feel like in a way, like how I experience is finding ways to cherish someone despite any flaws, and giving space to value them, to value what makes them feel good, and, what makes them tick, and still working around that. I feel like it's like full of fuzzy, warm feelings, but also
Yeah,
a little bit of hard work too. Just a little bit of work.
exactly. Effort, not work, effort.
Yeah, effort. That's what I like. Effort. There you
Yeah.
go.
And also, it doesn't have any ulterior motive, right? If
Right,
you
right,
genuinely love someone, you genuinely care, you're not looking for, you're not going to do something for someone and be like, oh, 2 months down the line, remember when I did that for you? You're not going to do that. If you
right.
genuinely love someone, you genuinely care, your acts of service for them, your acts of love, they have no ulterior motive. Of course, we want reciprocity, but there's no ulterior motive.
Exactly. Because in ulterior motive, it kind of just means they're using you. And that nobody wants to be used. Nobody wants to be a
And
used
it,
napkin.
yeah, and it also makes you feel like an obligation,
Right.
you
Exactly.
know, and nobody likes that feeling.
I sure don't either.
Nope, because the moment you make me feel like an obligation, I'm out.
Right.
Okay. I could do it myself. I might
Exactly.
struggle. I might struggle for a little while, but I will figure it out.
Yes, ma'am.
But if you can reflect back on your life overall, what is a moment you remember that demonstrated, like, it doesn't have to be physical, but it just demonstrated love to you?
So a moment for me that demonstrated love was when I had a really like bad breakdown. Um and it was work related, and I won't get into what happened per se. And Cameron was supposed to meet me for lunch, my boyfriend, and he met me and he actually held me. He held me. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't try to like make it seem like, what are you crying for? What's going on? He just held me. And I think like just that small moment, even though it's kind of like, dang, like this weird couple at Popeye's parking lot. Why are they hugging me?
You have Popeyes too much too? Me too. Me too.
He was literally the Popeyes parking lot, but he held me, and that really meant a lot. And then also because he
Yes.
did, he kind of showed me how that environment wasn't the best for me. So that when it was time for me to go, it was kind of like it taught me that that was one of the signs that it was time for me to go. So I
Oh
think
my
like
goodness. Was this recently?
this was it like this was back in August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back in August. This wasn't recent, but it was kind of like when I was kind of telling you the gist of what was going on, like outside the podcast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, it just didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. Was not
Yeah.
a good fit. And at least you saw that ahead of time, right?
Yeah. And I was mentally preparing for it anyways, but my body was telling me, but him being there and just holding me, like, and really he left the space for me to just be. I think it really just told myself, like, if I'm not going to listen to myself, see how he took care of me in that moment, because I wasn't, able to read the signs that this wasn't working. And yeah, I think that showed that in a very like, yeah, it was a very unselfish way. He didn't care about anybody, what everybody else was thinking, and he wasn't also trying to do it. Even my own mom and dad have done. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? Like, but I'm a crier. I'm a crier.
Exactly. You need to go where you are celebrated. And that's in every single environment, with your partner, with family, with friends, with work environments. Go where you are celebrated, appreciated, and acknowledged.
Exactly. But what about you? Do you have a moment?
I'm going to be so honest with you. It's every single time my kids hug me or kiss me or tell me like, you're doing a great job, when I feel like the worst mom ever. And it's like in those moments where I feel like the worst parent in the world, they remind me that I'm clearly not. That's a different type of love.
That is,
But
that's the mother, like your mother, the child that you carried, and I find like that's such a beautiful thing.
yeah, that's a different type of love, and that is just, I don't. Oh my God. But yeah, that's what I think about when it comes to like unconditional love. I will give a fun example though, is when my ex-boyfriend, who to this day I'm like, he was the best boyfriend I ever had. My ex-boyfriend helped me take out my braids.
He did?
I had a job interview the next day and I was like, oh my God, I gotta hurry up and take out my hair, because I was in the middle of hairstyles. And I was like, I gotta hurry up and take out my hair so I can go get a wash and set.
So how long did he sat down for hours?
He sat there and helped me take out my braids. It probably took us like 4 hours.
Wow.
He sat there with a comb.
And the scissors too, when you cut it and then you have to take it down.
It was the box braids, yeah, where I had box braids. He helped me take it down. And then I had to rush and get my wash and set, and then rush to the interview.
All in one day?
No, it was like a 2-day span. But you know those box braids when they're not like, when it's like the medium-sized ones where it's a lot of hair and it could take forever to get out. But it was also like, at the last minute because they called me for an interview. Like, well, can you come up in the morning? And I was like, oh my God, my hair.
Man. Oh
Yes.
man.
Yes.
And you're at the new growth too,
But
probably.
he also used to drive because his dad owned a string of funeral homes.
Mhm.
So he also used to drive me to school, rush me to school in a hearse.
Wait, in them big long black cars? And they have like the big old trunk.
Yes, he used to drive. Like if I was running late to school, he would pick me up in that thing and get me to school on time.
Period. I love that.
Yes, yes. He
That is
was
so cute.
A1. Get you one of those.
I love that.
Well, you have one. I'm talking to the audience. Get you these type, you know?
Please, y'all, please. Someone who genuinely cares. So then that kind of like ties into my like next icebreaker question is you're having a very bad day, right? But someone could do something meaningful for you and demonstrate that they just see you, love you and care for you. What would they do? What would that thing be?
In order for someone to demonstrate that they actually see me and love me is to hear my wildest story and not flinch. What about you?
Honestly, I think it's kind of like what my boyfriend did, like a good old hug, like a nice hug, and then like I could just cry. Oh yeah, that'll do
Yes.
it.
Yes. I want somebody who is not going to, they can hear my wildest story and they have no negative reaction whatsoever.
And it's like everybody deserves that and that's why I wanted to make sure I asked that, because I just feel like everybody should deserve to have some version of that, right? Because it just all in all just shows your value. You're not being judged. You're seen. You're heard.
Exactly. And it may not come in the form of romance. It may be a friend.
Mm-hmm.
It may be a great sister, brother, mom. There are so many different types of relationships that bring you genuine love. And it may not be always in the form of romance.
Yes. Like literally, I'm just so grateful for even the friends that I have. Like I know like a friend who even came up, said that she got an hour left in her schedule. She would help like my sister move out her apartment just because we're friends. And she was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's get her out of this apartment and I got you. I got an hour. Let's do it.
Exactly.
And that's love.
Exactly. Yes, that's the type of friend I am. There's no question. It's where's the address? That's the only, usually that's the only question that I ask is what's the address? What time do you need me there? Okay, how do I get there?
Yes.
Is there parking? Do I need to take a bus? What's better?
Yep. And she literally was like hungover and she was like, I don't care. I'm coming.
That's how I am. Yes. But it is to your best interest to do the necessary work that allows you to heal. But that doesn't mean you have to hold off on meaningful and impactful relationships, right? Circling back to what I said was you don't have to think that, your love is going to always be romantic. It may not. Sometimes you have to focus on the relationships that are in your life and build on those in order to get that romantic relationship that you're looking for. Because how can you have a romantic relationship, build on a romantic relationship when you can't even build connections with the family members that you have or your children, or you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Human beings, we're social as well, right? We are social beings, and oftentimes you find more of the healing you need being within your community. I know most of the time I meet that boyfriend that I spoke about, I met him because I was out with my god sister. You get what I'm saying? Wow. So it's like sometimes when you're building on connections that you already have is when you can meet romantic partners and build on them. But you can't expect to have healthy relationships if you don't peel back the relationships you already have.
Yes.
Right. But if those relationships you already have are unhealthy and toxic and you know you need to separate, then that's where, self-awareness comes into play.
When I was like working through like and I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I was working through like, oh, like could I like overcome like some of my social anxiety, I used to be like, oh my gosh, like that means like I just have to put myself out there. Like I'm just gonna have to throw myself out into strangers. But I essentially did start off with the people I naturally was what's the word? The magnet I was naturally attracted to. And I'm not talking about romantic, but like that we pulled naturally to each other. And then I nurtured those relationships. And through them, I kind of came over like some of my social anxiety, because through them, they heard me and some of my thoughts on social anxiety. And we went to places together. And some of us bonded over social anxiety. And so we're encouraging each other over it, right? So then we're overcoming our social anxiety together. Like
yes. And one thing that made that relationship so different from my others. I'm a very monogamous type of person. So if I get with somebody, I'm with them for years. but with him, it was like a best friend boyfriend combination. And that's what I need. I need a best friend partner. I don't want if there's no friendship at the core, I don't want it.
Right. Because then I think everything pretty much starts with like that friendship. Because, like how we made that connection in various episodes before, where it's kind of like you treat yourself like a good friend. Who is that good friend? A good friend is a good boyfriend. A good friend, is your best friend. A good friend is your sister or your favorite brother, the cousin that stand by your side. They act like a good friend. I feel like it's a base thing for itself and its own thing by itself too, if that makes sense.
It does. And I also feel like it's okay to outgrow people as well. Like maybe they're your best friend at the time, maybe they're your favorite cousin at the time, and you grow up to like different things and go different ways. It's okay.
Right. It's okay, because then you know how they say like different people for different seasons, and then even tying back to like how you're healing, or just even what you needed in the moment, what you needed from each other in that moment. You're not using each other, but just kind of like maybe you drift apart, but it's still, if you could still drift apart and still be on great terms and still have great memories.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, you can separate in a mature way where nobody walks away feeling hurt.
Absolutely. I agree. I also wanted to add that you have to allow people to love you. Like, I know I personally had a period where I was like, nope, I'm just tired of people. Nope. But then I was trying to see how much that hurted me because it was kind of like, oh, like I'm responding out of a place of hurt. So I had to tell myself, like, allow people to love you, right? It's about what you deserve, right? Like, don't let your hurt block your blessings, because through other people, I feel like not only you get your healing, but through friends, through a good friend, you can get a job opportunity. You can create more art. You can find someone who you can rely on to help you with your kids, with your pets, to be a listening ear. I know sometimes
or just a good laugh.
A good laugh. Yes. I love that.
And I'm sorry, what were you saying?
But yeah, like, and I thank you for adding the good laugh, because I love to laugh. Give me a good joke, and I love it.
Me too. Right? Yes. If I'm not laughing, what is the point?
Right. And it's just like, even if you had someone to give you a good laugh, it makes you feel good. Like, even when you're not feeling always the best about yourself, right? I think like those relationships keeps you more out of your head, less out of your head. Like, I'm so grateful that I kind of got out of that mindset very quickly on not letting people get close to me, or not or just kind of, I don't know, like, oh, I'm not gonna get close to them, maybe I won't even hang out with no one, I'm just gonna keep to myself. I'm glad I got out of that, because just like wonderful people I met even during college, like I have a friend named Kyra, like she laughs at almost anything, but we have so many fun memories because that girl can get so serious and then she'll laugh and then we make jokes about the craziest things. But like she's taught me
Yes.
about the joy and laughter, right? Like, oh my God, I love her so much. And like literally she's the queen. Like this girl she's literally like amazing. And I'm like, I'm glad I met her. Like imagine like I didn't allow myself, like I was just, because also in a way I'm being judgmental is what I want to say. That's what I was trying to get. Because in a way you're kind of like judging, and then that judgmentalness is also a block. Like I feel like, and it also
Yes.
just makes you feel more worse. It could increase like more anxiety. It could increase more depression. So you're just like also not only are you blocking your blessings, you're blocking yourself from healing, but it's like also you're kind of hurting yourself a little bit too.
Yeah, because the moment you judge someone, they're not going to forget that. They're
Yeah.
not going to forget how you made them feel,
Yeah.
you know? And there are different ways to express love. There are various demonstrations of love. It can be expressed as acts of kindness, listening intently, services, just being there all the time, showing consistency. Now, if you are the type of person who isn't affectionate, that may, you know, feel like you're being forced to do something that may not be natural to you. But when I say demonstrations of love, I mean doing what feels good to you as an individual, right?
Right.
There are people who show acts of love through buying extravagant gifts. And there are people who like to come over and clean your house for you.
You know, like even like when I think about how my boyfriend takes care of his family, he may not be like the talkative person, right? Or the one who's like the loudest in the room and, you know, the life of the party. But he brings that calm energy that I think, I know that's why his family loves him so much, and why they honor him. Like they really talk highly of their son, and for a very good reason. I know my boyfriend, like he will not complain. When I first met him, he was telling me like, yeah, he drives his grandfather to all his doctor appointments, and his grandfather has a little bit of symptoms of the Parkinson's, and then like not being able to walk. So being able to be there for your family member who may not be able to walk as well, and a doctor visit could mean a 2-hour visit where it starts off with allowing 10 to 5 minutes for your family member to come out the car. I think that's love. Like even doing something like that, there's not necessarily no
Yeah.
affection, there's no having to be the loudest in the room, there's no like all the charisma in the world, but it could be something as simple as letting your family member do what they need to do and not making them feel like they're rushed or they're an inconvenience to you, you know?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I think having patience in general is required in all relationships.
Yes, patience. I feel like that's a huge value that I feel like now that I've kind of like I'm very open to people now. I feel like that's a value that I look to see in people before I say I want you in my life permanently or I want you to have a direct impact to my life, is that patience, because
Yeah,
patience makes a huge difference.
it really does. Because if someone is impatient with me, I'm kind of done. Like it's a turn off.
Hmm.
It's a turn off.
You know, I get triggered, Kiera. Actually, when I know somebody is impatient, I get triggered. You know, I say I'm a crier. It kind of triggers that little inner child in me that had like an adult, any adult, get impatient just because I was a child. And it literally, like, I'm like, Zeta, that's a little Zeta. That's a little Zeta. Don't cry. Don't cry. But yeah, impatience gets me so triggered.
I know, but I do have to speak to my younger self. I was very impatient as a girlfriend, like it's a very impatient girlfriend. So I have grown. I can speak now on her. She was a very impatient girl. And I have grown to understand that that is very much a turnoff.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's growth right there. And that's the whole point of
Yeah.
the podcast, you guys. Like growing, seeing where we are, identifying where the moments where, you know, we were hurt or triggered, or seeing where we probably done that to others. So thank you for sharing that.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that as I became a parent, I realized patience is required everywhere, not just with my child,
Mhm.
and it forced me to grow up in that way.
I like that. Have you ever heard of like that thing where they say that oftentimes, like especially children in their early development, they look at the parent's face to see what's their reaction on how they respond to the
Yes,
world?
they still do. It
This
yeah, at this age they still do. They will
wow,
always look at their protector for their
right,
reaction, right? That's their
right,
protector.
and that's really interesting. That is really interesting, and it seemed like you kind of grew for that, so that in a way you're teaching, you grew from that, so that in a way you're also teaching them indirectly as well, which is really cool.
Yeah. I'm not speaking on someone purposely manipulating me or trying to get a reaction out of me or purposely causing a blow up. I mean like I can recognize in myself in moments where patience was required. I was
Hmm.
not patient. I'm not speaking on when someone is purpose because there are those people out there who are being manipulative or
Yep.
they are purposely delaying something or purposely making you beg for an answer or a response. I'm not talking about that at
Yeah,
all.
that's
That is
freaking prodding.
abuse. Yes, that
Hmm.
is abuse. I'm speaking of moments where I genuinely had to be patient and I just should have been cool, calm, and collected.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And thank you
Yeah.
for clarifying that, because I know like some audiences they could be experiencing that, feeling like, oh my god, like am I the bad person because this their abuser poked and prodded and was mean to them, rude to them, kept them on edge on every single thing. But no, that's
Exactly.
that is not what
That's
Kiara is saying.
that is manipulation
Hmm.
for sure. And recognize those signs. And hopefully we can dive deeper into manipulation tactics as the series goes. Um, but for sure recognize the difference between moments where you are genuinely being asked to be patient and then moments where you are purposely being tested.
Yes, correct. Correct. I love that. So like you want to keep love around you because I feel like that love, right? No matter if it's platonic, um, romantic, I know there's like other types of love, and I'm like only know about the platonic. I know it's probably Greek. I think those like some Greek letters or whatever that describes the different types of love. That like you want to keep that around you because I feel like it's cliche, right? Love is the most powerful thing of all. But and I don't mean that no Disney princess stuff, but like literally when you keep that around you, it's like your motivator. I just feel like when I think about the love that my sisters have for me and the love that I have for them, I feel like sometimes that keeps me pushing, right? And they my blood, but I didn't give birth to them. But I'm like, yo, we stood here through thick and thin. We learned each other, we annoyed each other so bad, but we still stuck through each other. And then we got each other like this. And I'm like, that keeps me going. Even when like I'm like struggling with like depression, I just think to myself, right? I'm like, okay, well, what would my sisters tell me right now? Like, or if I was at my worst, how would they speak to me right now to pick myself up right now, right? Just thinking about their love is what keeps me going. Even sometimes when I'm not when I'm overworking myself and I'm borderline burning out, but when I know I'm feeling a little bit lazier and I'm not keeping myself accountable for my goals, I think about, okay, they wouldn't judge me, but what would keep me going, and I wondered, like, do you kind of like feel the same way around that, like how you have to surround yourself to kind of keep you centered? Like, is that kind of like a similar thing with like your sons or like your other family members that you trust?
Yeah, I need to be in a safe environment. I need to feel safe in my environment. Is that what you mean?
Yes, like your
Yeah.
environment, it kind of affects your environment, whether distant or if they're
Yeah.
with you, yeah.
Yeah. I very sensitive to my environment. Um, I pay attention to what my gut is saying when I'm in certain environments. And if my gut is telling me to leave, I listen.
Hmm.
Yeah, for
Like you can
sure.
sense the negative energy versus like being surrounded by that positive energy. Um,
Yeah,
and I think when you know what that's like, you know what to stay away from too. That's another thing that once you know what it's like, it's easier for you to kind of know what to stay away from little by little over time.
for sure. And just like you said a while ago, you do have to allow people to love you. So sometimes um don't mistake that feeling of don't mistake your feelings of nervousness or your anxiety for um red flags. If there are genuine red flags, if if your gut is telling you then listen to it. But if you know that you are somebody who is just always standoffish, give the person a try. Give them a chance before you write them off, right?
Right.
And then if you see a red flag, listen to it.
Exactly. Exactly. I do also want to add that starting small with like curating those relationships when you're maybe feeling a little bit of some aversion or some nervousness because you're like, where am I in my healing journey? I don't want to deal with people. I think you could always start small with a phone call, um, interacting on social media if you have the capacity for social media, starting a conversation and the basics of like what is your shared interest, um, bonding over something, or even like I think I've bonded on even some important relationships just by saying yes to an invitation to do a little game night and then like having things go from there, or even like a class project, like agreeing to do a class project together and seeing how we work, seeing how we flow, and then like based off of that, if they valued how the project went, how we treated each other, that could become a great friendship too. I think like it doesn't have to be these big grand gestures, but like starting somewhere small and allowing yourself to get comfortable getting closer to people is also like I think a good technique, and I think that's something like I use with different folks too.
Yeah, that's a great idea. If you do have a sense of fear associated with receiving love from someone as you are healing, embrace that feeling, you know, approach them with curiosity and give yourself space to breathe and receive. Be kind to yourself at all times. This kind of feeling is normal to experience.
Correct. Because I think like if you go all in or you force yourself with you just force yourself in there, right? Like I feel like you're gonna probably have like a bad reaction, kind of like how when you are trying a new skincare product, right? They all say start small and allow 24 hours to see if you have a reaction. And I think that's like kind of like the same thing. Like the whole point of fear is because your body feels like you're trying to protect yourself. So it's kind of like let your body feel it, let your mind go through it and create that new neuroplasticity, and just because that's the only way you're going to find a valuable relationship. It's not going to be handed to you, kind of. Sometimes it is, but it's kind of like you have to approach it. And I say approach with curiosity because there's nothing wrong with being curious about something and exploring. And I think when you reframe it with like a little bit of curiosity, there's less pressure.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yes. And I want to say that to remember to be considerate of where you are on your journey, because sometimes where you're on your journey, maybe you do need a little bit of space, and that's okay. And you giving yourself a little bit of space kind of keeps you from hurting others just because you are hurt. But also, I want to say, and we were kind of pretty much touching on it throughout the episode, that you cannot prevent others from hurting you. Like getting to know a new friend might mean more opportunity for somebody to hurt your feelings, right? But that is one way of knowing this person is not for you, right? They might say a comment about your style, and that could hurt, that could trigger you. They might have a moment of impatience, right? Have we talked about impatience? Um, if you see something you don't like, the beautiful thing about it is you reflect on it and you can decide maybe this person doesn't have to be in your life, and you can grow and learn from it. And I think sometimes we cut people off too soon to protect ourselves. And I do think there's the power in the block button. Like there is power. I'm not like I love blocking people, but I rarely blocked someone just because I just felt like she was using me. And I did it to protect myself, and it felt good to protect myself. But before I got to that point, I told myself to allow myself to see who she was as a person. I over time saw who she was as a person. And when she violated that, I blocked her and I moved on so I can have more space for people who will genuinely not use me and not violate a boundary that I'll set, or who will respect that my no means no. So it hurt a little bit, but I reframed it and I told myself this leaves room for another great person to come into my life. So, and even if you don't probably like agree with it right now, or you're not feeling it right now because of where you are in your healing / social and accepting love journey from others, I do want to just hit that point that once you open yourself up to more people, certain people will try it. They will try it, but remember to keep your boundaries, protect yourself, see those red flags. And if your intuition is telling you to not mess with them, don't mess with them. Grow, learn from it, and keep space for the people that are genuinely going to impact your life.
So true. So true. And if you felt this conversation, follow us wherever you get your podcast, share it with a friend, and join us on this healing journey.
All in all, we talked about allowing space for your healing journey, and holding space for those who want to love you for who you are truly. So next time we will dive into a conversation about holiday blues. We know that's coming up. So we want to just give you guys a little bit of like a conversation and some tips and tricks to navigate all of that.
I'm excited. And don't forget to visit us, donate, whatever you would like to do at www.groundedstars.com. Book a class, book a session. Check us out.
Yes. And with that, we say goodbye, and we shall see you guys soon in the next episode.
See you again soon. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.